Well, hello and welcome to Firefly's Facebook Live. I am your host, Emily, with Firefly Toys and Games. If you hear the noise around me, we actually have RPG Day here in the back of our play area, so we are so excited to see the turnout that we have. And on part of our role-playing games today for Family Game Night, we are doing Quest of Yore Barley's edition for our Family Game Night game. So I'm so glad you could make it out for Firefly's Family Game Night, even if it is virtually. So we're not going to actually play the game like we normally do. I'm going to give you kind of an idea of how to play Quest of Yore, and that way if you want to come pick it up, you can go home and play with your friends and family. So let's get started to play the Ops games, the Quest of Yore Barley's edition. Okay, so in Quest of Yore, this is actually a great introduction to role-playing games. What this is going to do is really set it up for you guys, where there's not a whole lot of creation behind the scenes, unless it's something you all want to do, which is something that the Ops has included in the package when you purchase the game. There's also downloadable sheets on their website, so you can go to the opgames.com, click on the Quest of Yore product, and then if you scroll down just a little bit, you actually have access to download the character sheets, whether you want blank character sheets or ones that are pre-generated for you. I went ahead and selected the pre-generated sheets because it'd be so much easier to get an idea with some of the pre-generated so that you kind of know what to expect for the next time. And then they've introduced the Advanced Player's Guide, which really helps walk you through about character creation. It's really easy to be able to create your own character with Quest of Yore. So on Quest of Yore, it is front and back. Instead of AL, you normally have for Adventures League, you have like 3 sheets of paper. This one is only 2 sheets. And so what you've got is on the front, you've got the apprentice, who is Riz the Frey. And so everyone starts with 5 Hearts Fire and 5 Grit for their max. So what it is basically this allows you to do actions and to move and to be able to perform different functions throughout the game. And so these are important to you. Over here on this side, you have Gear Up. You need to choose before setting out on a quest. You have item cards of your reputation or less, and unless you're character creating, you don't have to worry about this, because thankfully in the Tomb of Quest book, it actually gives you an idea about what to have for your character. So I just selected these cards for us tonight. So if you happen to play the companion, which we do have the companion out somewhere. I'm the servant right here, so we'll look at that in a minute. So if you're the companion, these are the item cards they suggest you start with, and the power cards. For the defender, these are the cards they suggest. For the servant, we actually have spells we're able to do, and those of you who've watched the Onward movie that this is based off of, you will probably recognize the phrase Aloft Elevar as being one of the main spells where they're trying to create in the movie. So we actually do have that spell list. So what I've done is I went ahead and selected the character sheet, and then right here on the bottom, it will show you what type of adventurer you are, and that's how I selected the item cards and power cards or spell cards in the servant's case. And so we're able to use, let's show you some item cards. So you have heavy robes, and so it allows you to mitigate, and so you get to reduce damage. For Everfull Tome, this is an artifact, so it's going to allow you to be able to do certain actions. You have the Wizard Staff, and the Wizard Staff is magic infused in every glorious fiber, so you get to have positive defense versus these 2 types of damage that gets dealt. So it looks like fire and archery. Belt Dagger is a common weapon, so you actually get to use the Belt Dagger to be able to attack with. Now you do have the spells, and like I said, some of them have power cards instead. And so the power cards might look something like this. They're orange background. And so you'll be able to use them to make attacks or to gain things or different things like that. And so you use power cards throughout the game as well. And so for the servant, we're going to use spell cards. So we get to cast spells. And so you get to levitate things into the air and move them, or you get to lift then drop on an adversary as an attack, which is really cool. And then you've got Hydropura, which is another common spell. You get to summon or control water to do your bidding, or blast an adversary with summoned water as an attack. That's really cool. I bet I would love to do that. So anyway, they've got different things that's going to tell you what you need on the side. in order to perform this, and then you've got you need to perform these actions, or this is one that in some cases it actually tells you what it is able to cover. So this is really cool. So everything is all set up. You don't have to pick and choose. It's already ready to go. So I really opened the box. I mean, literally opened the box. I pulled out the tiles and pulled out all the tokens and pulled out the sheets, the pre-generated sheets, and pulled out the cards, and then just, oh, you need this, you need this. It's really easy to set up, y'all. So once you're set up, just to show you one more thing, you're going to want to know what you're able to resist. So you need to see what Lion's Will is all about, and the item and power cards and the support and what it takes to do that. Now, there are approaches and techniques, and these are things that happen as you begin going out on your quests. And so whenever the game master will tell you need to roll for approach, you need to decide how you want to approach. And so as the savant, if I'm cleverly or patiently approaching, I actually have a lot higher chance of being able to overcome as opposed to being able to move quickly or socially. Definitely not I'm a very socially awkward person, so not very good at socializing. So the apprentice is definitely going to be one to murk in the shadows and then, oh, you need me, here we go. And so techniques, there are going to be different techniques that you're able to cast spells, investigate. Some of these you'll kind of pick up if you played Dungeons and Dragons or any of the role-playing games before. You'll kind of pick up like fighting, investigating, mending, stealthing. Like there's different things that you kind of go, oh, I kind of understand those. And so these will come into play, the techniques will come into play throughout the game. Now, it says to fill in 6 at creation, and so you get to actually fill in 6 in addition, and then you add a 1 or a red die to your action pool. Now, the game actually came with a certain set of dice in here, but they do recommend that if you want to go ahead and let each person have their own set of dice, that would be more preferred. You just need to pick up a polyhedral set of dice in order to play this game, which is one of 7 different types of dice. Your D4, D6, D8, D10, so on. All right, so that's the front page. On the back side of the page, we do have a little in-depth look into the savant. And so we get to see the concept. They're a lifelong student, finally kicked out of the tower. So anytime that they talk about someone who's been kicked out or expelled or they're out on their own, our apprentice, Riz, is going to be able to associate a lot better with this person, and he might have more of a connection with them because of those concepts. And then the background is going to be the same way. And so you're tower trained, and then you get to actually put in different cues about, if you saw me or you knew me, this is kind of what you would see. And it actually tells you if you would like to actually draw out your picture, you can draw your picture, even if it sticks. If you just put like a little wizard hat and a staff, or you want to put, if you're an orc, you can put little horns, whatever makes you happy. Just to give you an idea. Now, you're going to want to fill out the bonds, record a bond with a known character at creation. And so as you start meeting people and you start building connections, you'll want to fill this out so that you kind of have a better idea as to, oh, we're encountering this, so this person is going to be a great a job for this. So, and then this is your journal to keep notes throughout the game. So definitely need some pencils around, maybe some extra paper in case you like to take notes like I do. All right, so just so you see, again, we're not going to go through the game, but just so that you see, we do have modular tiles that can be set up. We do have some really cool miniatures that were included in this game. Let's get a little bit closer up so we can see it here. All right, so we do have a really cool dragon. Whoa! Now, see, I would love to take and paint these. So if you like to paint, this would be a great project for you. All right, so there's a really cool dragon. Now, we do have a Manticore, and they actually did say if you would like to actually use Manticore as a adventurer, you can still do that, and they have it set up in the book for that as well. I believe this would be more of our vagabond. For those of you who play role-playing games, looks like a rogue. Just kind of, stealthy out there doing his thing. Usually has a really interesting backstory. And then you got your little... I guess it could be a goblin or a gnome or anything, a little short, cute creature with pointy ears. So you've got him. Looks like he's a bard because he looks like he's playing an instrument. So he'd be really fun to be around, tell some stories, sing some songs. Then we have our defender here. And our defender definitely looks more like a fighter for the D&D players. And they definitely have the roles and the abilities to be able to help out fellow adventurers and hit the front line of attack, to be able to deal damage to opponents, or not to opponents, but to the dragon or whoever the main fiend is, and to be able to come alongside and assist your adventurers. And then you have what looks more like a wizard or a sorcerer, and this is our Savin that I was showing you all about earlier. And of course, you can pick your own miniature. You don't have to use the ones provided. You can also, if you, as a defender, wanted to be this one, you could also play with that instead. So there's many different modes and characters that you could play. Again, these are just pre-generated sheets. You can also create entirely your own set of characters, which would be really fun. All right, make sure someone in your group is going to be able to run the game. It's going to be your game master. And what they're going to need is they're going to need the Tomb of Quests. Ooh, the Quest of Yore Tomb of Quests. So this is the Quest Master's Guide. And I'm not going to flip through the pages too awful much, but I am going to show you the first few pages are going to be very important for you to read before you begin. Now, the ones with the little pieces of paper, these are little side notes that Barley gives you. Just his tips and tricks throughout the game as you're playing. Again, you've got your beginning, your quest setup that I was showing you earlier about where I chose. You need to assemble your fellowship, and so you need to actually get your adventurers, you need to name them, and this talks about how to create your character. And then you have the Questmaster Law and the Adventurer's Code, and this is a really good thing just to read in front of your group before you get started, so that you know my word is absolute as a Questmaster, so whatever I say goes. But we are going to listen to everyone before we rule. We will rule on the side of having fun and keep the story moving and strive to make the narration as exciting and meaningful as possible. So, especially if you have a big imagination, that would be a great role for you, which would be the Quest Master. For the adventurer, we're the center of the quest. We're good people. We're only heroes, risk undertaking quests. So we always act according to personality, and we'll act boldly in our own way. So as you start kind of getting to know your character and how you think your character would respond, you can start interjecting some of that really fun wordplay, and some of the accents and some of the just the nuances that come with each your own character. All right, so the prologue. I'm definitely not going to show you all of this. You can't read all of this yet, but just to show you guys, especially as you begin doing the Dungeon Master. So this is going to be notes for you to highlight and understand. This is going to be background information for you. And then the blue box is basically being able to read and understand, to be able to kind of encourage the characters to go in that direction. Now, the green is everything you need to actually say to your party. So make sure that you read probably word for word what you've got. Now, a lot of times you need to have a Dungeon Master screen. We've got a Dungeon Master screen set up right over here. So one really good thing to do would probably be set your Quest Master Guide right behind your DM screen. And that way you can ensure that none of your party is able to read ahead, so that you can give them the element of surprise and still be able to have fun throughout the game. So that is Quest of Yore. There are so many fun things to do in Quest of Yore. Again, I'm not going to show you all the in-depth things, but just to tell you, there is a prologue in here, which is the Manticore's Gauntlet. I definitely encourage you all starting in the prologue. After you hit the prologue, there are 9 other chapters that you can take your adventurers through and have so much fun. And I would definitely encourage step by step. Chapter 11. So I didn't go quite far enough. So there is a chapter 11 in this game, and so that would be so much fun. You can definitely break it up and do like 1 chapter per game, or if you need to break in between when you're getting ready to go to the next scene, that would be a great stopping point. But it's so much fun. I took a look at it myself. I can't wait to break it out with the next party and play it. So I hope that you all really enjoy the role-playing aspect of this game. Like I said, this is a great game to introduce a new party or your family to the world of role-playing games without feeling too awful overwhelmed. Well, sorry we didn't get a chance to actually play Quest of Yore, but thank you so much for joining me for this family game night, and I look forward to seeing you guys next Saturday at 5 p.m. for another fantastic Firefly family game night. As always, if you all have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us and we'd be more than happy to help in any way we can. Have a great and safe weekend, and we'll see you next week. Bye.